we are talking about the holidays.
Yes.
If it's staying with multiple people, multiple relatives, like figuring out exactly what the plan is for food.
I'm not here to make you feel comfortable after you've said something, maybe after a hot toddy that you're like, oh, you maybe might not have said beforehand. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable that was okay.
I talk to them before and I say, hey, just a reminder, there's going to be food all around. You know, we don't know what that food has in it. If there's no label, no way. Like that was our big
reminding.
Thing is no label, no way.
Hi.
Hello.
And welcome to EpiPod. Sarah is a mom to 2 little boys with food allergies.
And Danielle has navigated life-threatening allergies her entire life.
Living with an invisible health condition is so isolating.
The fear and the anxiety.
Trying to cover it up so you don't affect anybody else.
Especially your kids. Sound familiar?
Join us on the couch and take a load off with people who just get it.
We're so glad you're here.
Welcome back to EpiPod. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Danielle. We look so festive today.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Oh, man. If you're not watching this, if you're just listening, you should just go watch that little part because we just made a complete fool of ourselves, but in the best way.
I thought you were going to say...
She's also almost having a Janet Jackson moment in her little tuxedo top. So
if that's not reason enough for you to watch on YouTube, which everybody only listens on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, then
it's okay. Shout out to our YouTube watchers.
Make your way on over. Thank you, Zara.
So we are talking about the holidays.
Yes.
And that can always be a sticky time.
Yes.
Because obviously, we've talked about on this podcast before, family members, while we love them, don't always give allergies the respect that they deserve. And a lot of it is because they don't really understand it or know it, but it still makes it a tricky situation.
Totally. Holidays? Why? I mean, at least for my allergens in particular, I know the milk people out there or the egg people out there are like, yeah, welcome to my life. But it's like this time of year is my favorite time of year. And it's also like the most land-filled time of the year. It's like every Starbucks, I used to get a grande Americano every morning from Starbucks. And then I just up and bought myself a new coffee machine because I was like, it's pecan everything. It's chestnut everything.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I don't want to have to be that stressed at 7:35 in the morning.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's exhausting. And then, everyone has like nuts out on the table at the holiday party. And
you go from the end of October being every Halloween candy having an allergen or a may contain statement,
right,
straight into Thanksgiving where it's like a day revolving around food, my least favorite thing on the planet. And then you have December, whether you're a Hanukkah person or a Christmas person or something in between, just like all of the holiday parties, whether it's school or at work, and then the family, and then this family, and then that family, and the road tripping family. And it's just like, if I have one more comment from Aunt Janet telling me a little bit won't hurt, I'm going to make it on the naughty list.
Seriously. And I'd be okay with that at that point. Because it's like, Janet can go away.
Give me some coal. It's free of the top 9 allergens.
Maybe it's been smoked with pecan wood or something. Oh, Lord.
Forget about it.
Yes. But it also means that at school and other places for the moms out there listening, I mean, the amount of holiday parties just within the school walls and the random treats that get passed out. And I actually have a story that's very timely about that today. Now, obviously with treatment, we are in a much better, less scary place. Mm-hmm. And shout out to Graham's teacher. She is amazing, the best, and is always texting me, letting me know, we have great communication. But I have yet to be actually a great communicator with her about his new dairy freedom because, I mean, I've been super busy since we got back from that appointment, but also I've been a little hesitant to want to let him eat dairy fully and clearly away from me.
Totally.
You know, it's
Baby
always
steps.
in my presence.
Yeah.
And so I just haven't done that yet. Well, Graham though is excited to be able to eat some foods, right? So somebody, I guess the school, or I don't really know the situation, brought pumpkin pie randomly into the school for them to have. And I'm thinking to myself, this is why we have a grab bag of safe treats for him, because if he couldn't have that, at least he can grab his safe honey bun or whatever, something yummy. But still, again, it sucks that somebody just randomly brings a treat that he can't have. Well, he told her, it was so cute. She texted me. She's like, he says he can have milk now. Is that true? Like, I was not going to let him have it, even though he told me that. I was like, well, it actually is. And I told her, like, I'm sorry, I haven't said anything. And she goes, but he says he just can't have hard cheese. And I don't really know what that means. Because in our program, you know, they said just wait 60 days before the hard cheese because it's different, whatever.
Wait,
anyway,
that is iconic.
I know. He's so cute. And anyway, it's just, yeah, it brought back the point of like, yes, he could have it. Like, it was fine for him to have it, and he ate it. And first of all, I'm like, can school always now just give him the foods that he refuses at home? Like, he is such a picky eater, and at home he would have never tried pumpkin pie. And now, like, she's showing me pictures, like, I think she sent like 3 pictures, and he's just like engulfing the
oh my gosh,
pumpkin pie. Like, he's obsessed. She's like, he loves it so much. And so, you know, it's a win for us, obviously, but
Sarah, this is huge.
It's huge.
This is enormous.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he's cross-contamination safe for everything.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh, pumpkin pie is my favorite food. I don't know if you knew that about me.
I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Every time I go home, it doesn't matter if it is April or October, my mom has a pumpkin pie, homemade pumpkin pie waiting for me, and I eat it. We're always like, it's going to be gone in 24 hours. It lasts maybe 12. And 8 of those I'm asleep.
Yeah.
So like, I love pumpkin pie, but if somebody brought in pumpkin pie as a surprise for school, you bet your bottom dollar I'm not eating that, because what if it was made at the same time as the pecan pie?
Totally.
That's amazing that he's able to do it with milk fully and not worry about cross-contamination.
Yes.
Your life is totally different than it was when we started this podcast. And that wasn't, you were even like past a couple hurdles even when we started, but your life has drastically changed.
It has, and it is amazing. And I'm so happy that he got to be included. I'm still like, I think even if we're done with all the allergens, I'm still going to be a little like secretly like, come on, people, when they like try to bring food to the classroom, I'm like, come on, like, he can have it now, but like, there are other kids who might not be able to. And it's just like, there's so many other things we can do besides food.
I think food is so uninteresting, and I know I'm the minority on that, but I'm like, literally do anything else other than go out to eat or drink. Like, cities that are our city included, that is so eating and drinking focused.
It is.
I'm like, be a little less boring, I dare you. Which Austin is not boring. They have plenty of events and non-eating things too, but I'm just like, how boring? Like, or people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, that I don't want to eat out at a restaurant most times. Like, how do you do it living such an incredibly boring life?
It's just an allergy parent thing, like, or allergy person thing. Like, unless you live this life, it's hard to understand where we're coming from, but it is hard when everything revolves around food, which the holidays obviously do. I mean, they just do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we definitely need to go through our tips for you, like how you manage, during the holidays at like group gatherings. And I'll certainly share, I have a few stories as well about like, you know, aunt or, you know, someone else wanting to bring something and being told no and having big feelings about that. So we'll get into all of it.
No, I would say like, I don't even have like a lot of tactical tips. Like, I know there are a lot of things, and this is like more your brain for like, prepare this, that, the other. I'm like always going to be like slightly underprepared and slightly late and like slightly a mess.
Yeah.
The way that I approach holidays is like the way I approach allergy life in general, but holidays, it just seems like it's a lot more heightened. I just like get what is your value? And so when you feel bummed out, like it's Thanksgiving dinner and you ate your meal prepped thing or whatever is within your comfort zone, and you are like, dang it, like I gotta go home soon because I'm getting hungry again, and everybody's going in for seconds, but like not me, like this blows.
Yeah.
Or like being at a Christmas party and there being nuts everywhere, and I'm gonna be like, half my brain is here and half, probably more than that, is thinking like, is my breathing okay? Am I having any rashes? Like this, that, like I'm clocking everything. That sucks. But at the end of the day, like what are my values? Like, what is my highest value? And that's to have a fabulous, sparkly, very best time that I can have with my family and friends.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, whether it was like so much fun and I hosted and everything was safe for me to eat, Or I went to a family member's house who knows how to cook for me and I've eaten there a million times before, or I've prepped myself, or I've walked away being like, I had to leave that thing early because I felt really unsafe. Like at the end of the day, my value was like, did I do whatever is necessary? Did I put myself out there? Did I, whatever, spend all this money to go home and be with my family? Did I do that in the interest of my highest value? And yes, I did. And so therefore it was a win.
Yeah, I
like,
love that.
Can I go to the party and eat anything? Probably not. Did I go and have like the best wine ever? Like, yeah. And it was great. And I had so much fun. And I didn't drive there because I knew this would happen. And maybe I kissed a cute boy under the mistletoe. Like it's all a win.
Yeah.
A nut-free kiss under the mistletoe.
That's amazing.
That's
such a good perspective.
Yeah. But I really, that's what like not gets me through, but that's how I stay positive and not like toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, well, at least you can, or like, at least you have your little Tupperware of like kind of lukewarm Brussels sprouts.
Right.
Like at least da-da-da. Like that is not helpful for me whatsoever.
Yeah.
What is helpful is like, my goal is to have so much fun dressing up and have so like, I want to leave there with my stomach hurting because I laughed so hard. Mm-hmm. And like, that has nothing to do with food. So if the bummer had something to do with food, it didn't touch what mattered to me.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
That's really lovely. I think we could all benefit from having more of that sort of perspective. So thank you.
You're
that was
welcome.
awesome. I'm going to steal it myself.
Yeah.
So I'll jump into some more tactical tips because yes, preparedness I think is really important when I'm managing littles, right? Because like you need to do what's best for yourself and you're in complete control. I feel like for me, it's like I feel so much responsibility for these other little humans, you know, to not only fill their bellies, but also to make sure that they're safe and having a good time. So it's like a 3-part situation. I would say before we ever go anywhere, like if I'm traveling somewhere like we are for the holidays, I am big on like really planning out the time we're going to be gone. So like if it's staying with multiple people, multiple relatives, like figuring out exactly what the plan is for food. So like to the point of like, oh, okay, like are they expecting that we go out to dinner or not? Right. So like if the idea is that we stay in the house, well, great. Then I can figure out the food like I always do or run to the grocery store. But like if we're planning to eat out, I need to know that now. So I can call ahead to a restaurant or just know to have containers that can go out into the world to the restaurant if safe food for them. You know, I just need to know what's happening. So of course, with allergies, you just don't get the spontaneity that other families do. And that sucks, but that it's okay if you're prepared, you know? So just like knowing what we're doing on the days that we're going to be somewhere. And then of course, if it's just a party that you're going to or something, then contacting the host and saying like, hey, do you know what's going to be on the table? If you do have a child with say like a nut allergy and they're really young and they're going to have, you know, grabby fingers, or you're worried about the other kids, like most people want to help you, right? We've talked about that before. Like it's one thing if you're going to a complete stranger's house. I mean, I don't know, you might just have to manage your own self and like stay for a little bit and jet. But like if this is a close friend or family member, for the most part, they're going to want to help you. Even if they act a little annoyed, like they're like, okay, I mean, I love having pecans on the table, but if, you know, whatever, it's like, great. I mean, like you can be a little upset about it, but like most of the time, even if they're a little annoyed or roll eyes, like they'll still do it. And then guess what? They'll forget about it by the time the party's there and we can all move on and your kid is safe and you advocated for your child and that's what's important. So again, I say that in the same breath of saying most people are probably not going to give you shit. Like they're probably just going to want to help make you feel comfortable and safe if they're inviting you to their house. So I think that is number one, like ask for what you need and ask for the plan so that you are prepared enough to feel safe and have a good time.
Do you prior to Graham's cross-contamination safety, like, are you going over to people's houses for a holiday and you're good with them cooking for your kid if they show you the ingredient list? Like, are you going down to like, you're worried about like, was this pan double washed because I don't know what was cooked in
Yeah.
it before? Like, were the spatulas washed with a clean sponge? Like, are you going down to that granular level? Because every allergy family is so different. Every allergy person is so different.
Yeah.
I'm now on the side where I'm going down to the granular. Like, I don't want to eat at my sister's Thanksgiving because I know that there wasn't a clean sponge used. Like, it's potluck style. Like, I don't know. I don't know the ingredients.
No.
I don't know. But did I grow up my whole life going to that same Thanksgiving, eating everything and just literally avoiding like the bread rolls with the pecans as they're like pumpkin bread rolls and the stem is a pecan.
Yeah.
And I remember always being like, that's so cute. I wish I could have one of those, but I'll have like one of the plain bread things instead.
Yeah.
I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I wish I was, but I'm not. So like, where do you stand on that?
So yeah, obviously things are different now, but before we got to that point in treatment, no, I wouldn't let Graham at a party, especially a potluck. No, we wouldn't eat anything, nothing. I would say I probably have like a small handful, maybe 3 people, maybe 4 if you're including like my family members in that, who I trust to cook anything for him. I mean, again, I'm having to break free from that, right? Because we have the freedom now and I need to act like it.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, that was always kind of a hard line for me. If we're staying with my mom, right, I can wash the pan again, or I can just explain to her. And she's obviously talked on here before, like our biggest supporter and champion and understanding and all of that. So like she would double check and wash things. She double checks ingredients. She saves the labels, like I have my mother-in-law, her, my sister, and then like a couple of friends who I've let cook for Graham before. But outside of that, no, I would just I would either feed him before, and then bring a few snacks, or I would bring like, just like you pack a school lunch, pack a little tray of dinner food for him.
Before we were recording, when you were getting ready in the mirror, you were talking about Ethan's sleep regression at 4 years old.
Yeah, let's hope by the time this airs, that's freaking over.
Yeah. But you were telling me like the wild ideas that you were entertaining to make this better for the whole family, for everybody to get sleep again. And I looked at you and I was like, wow, I literally would not know what to do with a child. And so putting myself in your shoes, like, okay, say there's an allergy mom listening and she has a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old too.
Yeah.
And they haven't been through a TIP program. So they walk in the shoes you used to.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you let that kid loose I think back to my own childhood, like my hordes of cousins, friends of friends were all at this house. And being the little girl that I was, like, I wouldn't put anything random in my mouth. Actually, that's not true. I probably would. Like at my grandparents' house, which my grandpa loved nuts. Like, I probably was eating random candies out of the candy dish and stuff. But like, I just think about like the parents are on one side of the house and the kids are running amok.
Yeah.
Like if you have littles with food allergies and they understand it, but like, do you talk to them before a big family party like that?
Always.
And you're just like, don't eat anything unless I give it to you. Like, what's the speech there?
Yes. We want to take a minute now to tell you a little bit about a brand that we really love, Pulse Power, a high-protein, all-natural chickpea-based snack line that is co-founded by an allergy mom.
They have delicious snack sticks and chickpea spreads that are made in a dedicated top 14 allergen-free facility.
A great choice for school lunches and snack boxes. Definitely. That's everywhere that we go, that I might not have eyes on them 100%. Now, granted, like all the moms out there are like, well, we're helicopter moms because we have to be.
Totally.
I mean, you have to keep a general eye. I also try to like, yes, I talk to them before and I say, hey, just remember there's going to be food all around. We don't know what that food has in it. If there's no label, no way. Like that was our big
reminding.
thing is no label, no way. If a food doesn't have a label that we can check, you can't eat it. And so they know that rule hard and fast. Now Ethan, he's a little more, he's younger. It depends on age and it depends on personality. Because Graham, even when he was Ethan's age, would never grab something. Ethan, he is pretty good about it, to be honest. Even with his little bit more wild personality, he's still pretty good about the allergy thing. But I would have less trust in him to not grab something that looks delicious. So I think it's just knowing who your kids are, having that conversation before, but then keeping an eye on them. And, again, hoping that the guest, if it's a severe allergy, like if we went to somebody's house and they had a bowl of sunflower seeds out or like chocolate covered sunflower seeds or something, I mean, I would definitely ask, can we put these high up? Like maybe not even can you put them away, but like,
have you ever
can you
seen
just, no.
They have sunflower seeds out?
Oh no.
Okay,
I'm just
thank goodness.
saying.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Because some people do have nuts, but he doesn't have a nut allergy, and he's my one that be more like
right.
grabby. So yeah, I think I would remind him before. I would scour and look for anything that's like potentially dangerous that's level to him to grab. And then I would keep a close eye, and that's kind of all. And then, I mean, really, you have to be careful as a parent. We've talked about this before, to blur the line between safety and anxiety and making your kid anxious, right? Like we need them to be safe and take care of themselves, but I don't want to give him any of my anxiety. I want him to know that if he does X, Y, and Z, he's going to be all right.
You know what I've noticed, and I feel like some of the adult allergy people might relate to this, is it's kind of the opposite as an adult. Like my mom being so nonchalant makes me have to go, like, this is where I'm at normal life. And then when I'm at my parents' house, and if she's not taking it seriously, it's not that she's not taking it seriously. She just like is having a really hard time. And I think always will, like not operating the way that I used to.
Yeah.
Like not just thinking that it's okay and I can take a Benadryl.
Yeah.
And that anything that has may contain, or you can eat it right next to me, like that switch for her has been really hard. And so when she is so nonchalant, it makes me, my like general normal, like I'm watching out, but like I'm good.
Yeah.
It's all, my head is above the water. I'm treading water, and all of the bad scaries I'm keeping underwater.
Yep.
I'm keeping an eye on them, but they're underwater. When somebody's nonchalant about it, all the big scary, like we have Puff the Magic Dragon spurting out of every part of every wave. Like it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So I think like if there's any adult allergy people listening,
Yeah.
if that's what you're experiencing, like it's so funny how you don't want to give your child anxiety. And as the adult, I'm like, well, I don't want to give my mom anxiety, but like a little anxiety would be nice.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I think he knows, I think they both know that like, it's not that I'm ever, nonchalant, but I also don't want to be like obsessive.
Totally.
Or so like, it's finding that middle ground of like, here's what we need to do to be safe. Here's what our allergist said we need to do. Here's your reminders because you're a child. And then we have a good time. And this brings up like another point that's obviously one of the most important things I think during the holiday, especially if you're going somewhere, is making sure that you not only have your epis and your medicine, right? That's like a no-brainer, but I always bring an extra set because you just are always on the go in the holidays, right? So you don't know if you're like gonna forget them somewhere, or like leave them behind at the restaurant, or like you're traveling from one aunt's to the next aunt's dinner and like shoot, somebody didn't grab that bag, and then it's like you have a backup somewhere that like, or say like for us, we have dinner in like one part of Louisiana and then we drive an hour and a half to a different part. So if we had an extra one like in our car
You're
or
not
something,
turning back around.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to turn back around, but you do if you don't have an extra set, right?
I had to do that the other day.
Me too.
That hardly ever happens to me.
Yeah.
And I changed purses and I was like, okay, I'm not even going to eat anything, but I'm not turning around.
Right. You have to. Yeah. So I always bring, you don't want to like leave it in the car for temperature control reasons,
right.
But like having it somewhere safe, right? Like you can leave one set at your mother-in-law's house and then bring the other set with you to the party that you're going to or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just having another like fluid pair that you're either having like, or maybe you're two sets of parents and like you have some in your purse and then your husband has some, and so it's like no matter what happens, how things switch around or you're, going wherever, there's an extra set somewhere that maybe will help if you have a forgetful moment. So that, just making sure you have it and then maybe consider bringing an extra set if you have, or the one that's expired from last year, right? They always say that probably the medicine works for an extra year past the expiration date. So like, that's always our backup at home too, to have that set. So even if you can't afford or you don't want to buy an extra set to have with you around the holidays or whenever else, just having that like 1 year expired set might be good
or
too.
like, keeping an air tag inside the case.
Yeah.
For the one that you do have. Say you, for whatever reason, only have one set, keep an air tag on it that will alert you if it's left behind.
Totally.
Because you're right, with all the holiday traveling around. I will say something ahead of this holiday season that I feel like I've always been, we were joking earlier too, we are wicked. Like we're opposites in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But like we always say, like we're Sour Patch, like first they're sweet, you, and then they're sour, me.
Sometimes it switches.
True.
Yeah.
I feel like I can, like, I don't know. I jump to sour quickly. Sour is a poor word for it. I just I have a very low threshold for BS.
Yeah. I try to take a beat and take a breath. Yeah.
This year ahead of the holidays, like, I don't know if it's the podcast and because I spend so much more time processing things out loud with you and like actually being an advocate in the allergy community and in the allergy space.
Yeah.
That's given me this perspective where I'm just like, I will talk about this till I'm blue in the face if it can help someone and if they're open to it.
Yeah.
I have no time for anybody to make a joke about it.
Yeah.
I have no time for anybody to not take it seriously or to say a little giggle or to under their breath say something sarcastic. I have zero time. We've talked about like how you respond in the past. And my go-to is always like, oh, that's a really interesting thing to say. And then walk away. I have noticed I've made the switch in the past couple of weeks. I literally just go, totally. And I walk away. Because I don't care to even be sweet a little bit.
Right.
I don't care to like, oh, that's a really interesting thing to say. Smile, make sure everybody's comfortable. Okay, I'm going to go get another glass of wine. Does anybody want one? No, I'm not bringing you a glass of wine. Totally. Walk away. Like, goodbye. I don't care.
Another version of that could be like, huh, and then walk away if you want to be even more salty.
No, I literally am too fabulous of a human for you to bring any sort of vibe down. Like, I'm not teaching you anything if you're going to have any amount of sarcasm or treat my invisible health condition that affects me more than I can count on my hands a day into a joke. Like, I'm not here to make you feel comfortable after you've said something, maybe after a hot toddy that you're like, oh, you maybe might not have said beforehand. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable that that was okay. Literally this year, I'm just like, totally. I was at a family wedding where like people were making comments about like, oh, like, do you even eat? And I was like, totally. Walked away.
Good for you.
Because I don't have time.
No.
I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't care to be like, wow, I want them to know that actually like I take really good care of myself. And that's why I look hot AF in this bridesmaid's dress. Like, I don't want to like show them like, oh no, like here's the picnic bag that I packed for myself and I ate on the bus ride to the rehearsal. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you think of me.
Yeah.
And I don't care for your negativity. Like, just totally bye.
Yeah.
And they'll get it. And if they still continue doing it, that's on them.
Yeah.
And if they think you're a short, I'm not going to say the words on this podcast.
You can.
That's on them.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah. No, it's so true.
So I would just like encourage anybody listening, like if you get easily frustrated at holiday parties or even me, like I'm so good at shutting it down. I don't even want to like entertain it with a smile this year.
Yeah.
If there's somebody who's like, this is so interesting. Like I saw you post something the other day.
They're actually interested. That's different.
If they want to learn how they can better support people in this, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm here all day. Oh, the party's ending. Let's go find a bar that's open and talk about it more.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But like, if you're listening to this and this ruffles your feathers whatsoever, like I'm begging you, please don't use even 15 seconds of these precious times that you have with your family to make other people feel better for making you feel bad about something that you didn't choose.
Yeah. I love that. And I mean, the other thing too is you're, especially with your kids, like you're in control of your decisions and what you do. Like if there's someone who's really an asshole, like, I mean, if someone's making a side comment and you walk away, yes, like continue having fun and being there and doing your thing and like ignore the hell out of them. But if this is a situation where you feel like your safety is at risk or like it's a, you know, someone invited you over, even your own parents or your, you know, husband's parents or wife's parents, like, I mean, you can say no. Like, that's the other thing. You cannot go and make your own fun. Like, it sucks to miss out on the party. Sure. Like, you want to be there, but at some point a line needs to be drawn if someone's not taking your health and safety seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear you, and I totally agree. In like a group setting, a big setting, and someone's kind of just like not getting it and making a whatever comment. But when there are times, and we hear from people who say like, my father-in-law doesn't even believe that allergies are real. It's like, in those cases, it's like, this is Christmas. You deserve to have a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And so there are lots of people out there who will love you and help you and want to be with you on the holidays, or just your immediate family. So screw the ones who don't, even if it's family. And it's really easy to say, it's harder to do, but it's worth it to protect your peace and to protect your actual children. Yeah. The other things that I want to throw in just about holiday get-togethers and holidays in general is like, I feel like desserts, I mean, all food has the risk, right, of having an allergen in it. But I will say like desserts are a really hard one to manage, because I mean, if you, any allergen that you have, right? Like if you have milk, egg, nuts, wheat, like soy, all of the top 9, except for maybe like the fish allergies out there. Like a dessert is just gonna be tough. Yeah. And so, and kids, obviously, talking to the allergy parents out there, I mean, right, they are gonna eat a roll and dessert like that. They don't even want the turkey and all the other stuff. So like, if there's I'm gonna bring something, bring the safe treat, like bring for the whole group, right? I mean, and if you're worried about cross contact and people touching, then maybe you can like steal a couple cookies to the side, right? That are for your kids, but make them for the party. Bring the treat to the party for the holidays, because then at least your kid, which again is probably one of the 2 things they even wanted in the first place, is going to have the thing that everybody has. So maybe they don't have the pie, but a lot of kids won't eat the pie anyway. So it's like, you brought the cookies, you brought the brownies, like that are safe. Everyone can enjoy them together, and you don't have to worry, at least at that part of the meal, that something could go awry. So that's another little treat. I will also say, not a little treat. What did I say? A little,
a little treat.
What was I thinking? A little tip.
Yeah.
We have had instances where, my mother-in-law like cooked everything, was showing me labels and everything, and people were going to bring dishes, and she just said, no, like we've got everything, like don't worry about bringing dishes. And it's really hard, especially in the South, for people to
show up empty-handed.
They don't want to. And so we did say like, you can bring a bottle of wine or something.
That's helpful.
Well, still people are like, but I've got the casserole, I've got the thing, like they want to bring it. And it's just so hard for them not to. In that case, when that happened to us, well, we had one person who was kind of disgruntled about it. And honestly, it was one of those like, let somebody else handle it for you if you can. So we've talked about this before, but in those situations, I just, like my mother-in-law handled it, like was just like, sorry, this is the way it is going to be. And like, I knew it and was annoyed by it behind closed doors, but like, I didn't have to handle it myself, like say the words, deal with his response. Like it was just, it made it a little easier to have that buffer. And then also, the person who did just bring it, my mother-in-law just took it and like stuck it in the fridge and was like, well, we'll have this later. Like if y'all come over tomorrow, we can, like after we've gone on to my mom's house or something, like we'll just bring that out then. And like, we just didn't have it. She's like, we can have it later. Yeah. And so having people in your corner to that level is really, really helpful. So making sure that maybe everyone kind of knows where you stand on stuff too, and can help you, even like asking them, coming right out and saying like, hey, I would like, the holidays are kind of tricky for me. Like I hate being the no person, or the person who's worried all the time and not able to have a good time. So like, if you could help me, like be my cheerleader, my protector, like if you could help me say no, or like kind of make sure that nobody's bringing something to your kid, or I don't know. It just helps to have somebody helping you. And also if you need to make any kind of announcement, like if it's a small group, and just say, hey, just a reminder, like nobody hand my kid anything to eat. Like that can be risky for us with allergies. Yeah. That's something that I've done in the past, is just kind of remind everyone, hey, like you might think it's really nice to hand Graham a cookie, but like that's not something we're doing. So anyway, few little tippies.
The last thing I'll say from the adult allergy perspective is if you are a parent listening and you are grieving like all of the ways in which this makes it harder for your kid. Excuse me. For once I'm not crying, I'm getting over a cold. As somebody who has had this their whole life, I look back on my childhood and I don't think about all of the desserts that I can't have or I wasn't able to have, or the meals where my mom packed some soy cheese instead of whatever the pizza thing that we were doing for the pajama party cousins movie thing. I don't remember the food at all. I don't remember being told no. I mean, I'm aware that I like couldn't eat a lot of the things that my cousins were eating, but that was like the smallest blip on the radar that it doesn't even show up. I really have to think about it to even remember, like, oh yeah, she did have to pack soy cheese for me. Or like, oh yeah, I remember like not being able to try all the pies like them. Mm-hmm. What I remember is laughing my head off, the matching pajamas, the family traditions, the setting out the luminarios, the movie nights with my cousins, sitting with my grandma reading the books. Like, don't feel the feelings, and like you may feel, and they may feel really left out in the moment. Like, I really want the cookie, or like, how come I can't have this? Like my best friend and older cousin Jake, like that's real and that's true, but truly very high chances that they will have the same experience as me of it being a blip on the radar. Like they are going to have magic in all the other ways. And that's the stuff that's going to stand out to them. And like looking back at childhood too, or now seeing my cousins who have kids of their own, and we're sitting at the kids table, or I'm like helping them with their kids at the kids table. They don't even want to eat. Like they want to get this over with so that they can get back to playing tag with the light up antlers in the backyard. Mm-hmm. Like truly, it may feel like a really big deal to you as a mom. And it is. It's not a little deal. I don't want to minimize it. But to them, they are going to have the most magical childhood and the most magical holidays despite it.
Yeah.
Like truly, truly keep them safe and then concentrate on all of the holiday fun that they can have.
Yeah.
It can be a blip on the radar. Once you've covered the safety aspect, it can be a blip on the radar.
Yeah, that is very helpful. And you're so right. And I think it does affect parents because we're grieving what we remember possibly from our childhood, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're going into the store and we're seeing the gingerbread houses that you can, buy for $10 and make for fun at your house. And then you turn it around and you see that it has milk and eggs and wheat. And you're like, oh, actually my kid doesn't get to do a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. You could go and find substitutes and you can make your own safe gingerbread house. Or you know what else? You could just not do a gingerbread house. And I bet your kids will never even know the difference. Mm-hmm. And I've had to tell myself that a lot, that it's not making it smaller by not doing some of these things. It might look different than your childhood looked. And this is me talking to myself, by the way. This is not me lecturing anybody else. It's like, just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad or it's smaller.
Yeah.
Make your own traditions, do your own things. Your kids only know what you show them. And guess what? You're a badass mom. So you're showing them a hell of a time.
Yeah.
So just lean in to what you can do. And again, this is easier said than done. I'm talking to my own self, right? But it can be done to just keep it what is possible. Mm-hmm. And your kids are going to look back so fondly.
Totally. Merry Christmas, yes. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you're celebrating. I hope you celebrate it beautifully and safely, and to all a good night. No?
Yes. Thank you for listening. Please send us your ideas.
Yeah, for 2025.
Yes, we're excited about the new season right around the corner. So yeah, hope this is helpful.
And also, this is fun. If you ever, when you just like need to like go to the bathroom and text your friend and be like, you'll never believe what Aunt Susan just said at the Thanksgiving table. You can always message us on Instagram.
Yes.
Like, get on the EpiPod Instagram, send us a voice note or vent to us in the DMs. They are open. We will understand.
Yes. And maybe we'll share anonymously a few so that those with like crazy family and stuff can like feel seen and heard. Like, oh, look, I'm not the only one with with a crazy Aunt Janet.
Yes. If you are comfortable sharing your crazy, just put that in there. Like, can share anonymously. Yeah, we'd love it. That's a hilarious idea.
That's a whole episode. We should do it.
A post, like, well, at least for me, like after a date.
Yeah.
Or like after like a big party, it's like the morning debrief.
Yeah. Postmortem.
Yeah. We're going to do in season 2, one of our first episodes should be a post holidays EpiPod squad postmortem.
I love it. All right, guys. We'll check you next week.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.